Okay. Okay, I think that covers it. All right. Wait, what am I holding? There we go. Right controller. All right. Ah. Oh God, what are you doing? Why do all my PS4 controllers break? So annoying. I'd like it for once that your stupid plug thing doesn't break when it gets inconveniently dropped. I really should consider just shelling out for a PS5 controller, because it'd be cheaper than this at this point, with how many I've bought over the years. Absolutely ridiculous how easily these things just become busted. Actually, are these actually legit golden bones, or is this something else? Let's see if I can... Let's see what I can do with the lighting. Because I thought the bones themselves were golden, but it's looking little dicey there. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, something like this. Hey, I'm sorry, hi man. I am. How you doing? Crazy week? Yeah, it's been a crazy week for me too. And then I didn't want to stream on the day that the Oblivion remaster launched, right? So I was like, you know, like I don't want to like no one's gonna watch me over playing the Oblivion remaster, right? So it's like I just didn't feel like going on for that. Plus, I just been tired lately, so there we go. Something like this, right? Yeah. Alright, so these two aren't actually in, they actually aren't covered by flowers or anything, so that's good. The Oblivion remaster's kind of blowing to be popular. Now waiting for Bethesda to remaster more one. Yeah, I'll be honest, I wasn't too impressed. I'm like, it's cool that they're doing it with the graphical upgrade, but... I mean, Oblivion has a lot of problems. It has a whole heckin' lot of problems. So for me personally, I'm not willing to go down that nostalgia trip. At least not until they come out with, like, Sky Oblivion or something. But hey, I'm glad that Bethesda got a W. Todd knows they need one. Todd certainly knows they need one. Yeah, the boats themselves don't look as they don't look as I remember them, if I'm being real. Oh. This one flower glitching out in the corner is annoying me. I guess that's okay? I guess? Also, audio sound fine, guys, because I had some problems with the Yeti earlier on, so if there's any, like... If there's anything, like, weird sounding about my, my audio compared to normal, or maybe just at all, just, let me know. Todd finally re-released a game that isn't Skyrim. That is very true. It's finally not Skyrim. Yeah, something like this I think will look good. There we go. Audio's good. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm thinking if that's going to be my next investment, is probably getting a new microphone. Because I've been using the Yeti for, what, a year now? I think that's been long enough. I've gotten everything else, really, for the upgrades on my PC. So that might be the next part that I look at. I got the Persona 3 remake, so looking forward to actually playing it. Oh, awesome. Yeah, that was what I was heavily considering whether or not I wanted to play the remake or not. Ultimately decided against it, because I'll be honest, I just don't think I can stream. Like, I can't do Trails. I can't do, like, any types of long JRPG, I think, with how inconsistent my schedule is. I have enough games in the backlog I need to finish, right? Yeah, I cannot see these items placements very easily, even from under, so... Ah, that's a normal skull. Yeah, it really is just these three they put up here, and they said, okay, we're done. They even left some, like, spare bone piles to kind of just add to the mystery, you know? It's very subtle. Yeah, nothing else. Alright, so let's just focus on getting this last one covered then. Star Toho also recently? That's interesting. You're jumping from games to game, I am. Oh god. There we go. Like, where the hell are you? Alright, there we go. Okay. Let's take some overarching shots of the hill. Something like this, right? Actually, before we do that, let's go back to daytime. Because I think the skybox is giving us problems. Damn, my backlog stacked lately. LOL, totally. It happens. Alright, let's see. Yeah, I swear, sometimes it feels... Sometimes it feels a bit weird how lighting is in this game. Alright. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Doggo wants love. Oh no. What am I supposed to do? Alright. Boy, get over here. Yeah. Over here. Over here. Yes. Over here. Now down. Down, Rusty. Down. Good. Good boy. Let's check out the lighting, see if I can do anything better here. Kind of. This ain't the worst shot. Not the worst. Give love to dog. I'm trying. He's not making things easy because he decided he's gonna lay down like as far away as my left leg can get him. I can't give you your belly rubs like that. Don't you look at me like that. Okay, I gotta drag him 1 second. There we go. That's more doable. See? I can now give you your belly rubs. Listen, it's the same in JP, right? Alright. Yeah, it had to be something like this, right? this. Yeah. Yeah. I'd say that just about covers it, right? Maybe something a little bit more like this if we wanted to really emphasize. Right? Got into Toho because of the amount of Fumo plushies. I've only known people who've enjoyed Toho, and I still don't fully understand Toho. I really don't. It's just one of those things where I've listened to so many... I've listened to more Toho OST than I think I actually know about the actual series. It's such a... It's such a weirdly pervasive yet incredibly niche type of IP. You know? Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, so we have a shot. So we have a shot like this. A shot like this. And maybe I can try to get a shot like this? Nah, I think we've already covered. Yeah, I don't really like that. Yeah, I think what we have is fine. Maybe get some more zoom-ins on, This house isn't boarded up, surprisingly. This one is. Wait, how the hell are you supposed to get inside this house? Oh. Oh. I see. Soka. Naruhodo. I'm just gonna take this shot for posterity's sake. Let it be known, I tried. There are more fan games than there are official ones. I'll be honest, I don't remember this house model anywhere except here. So maybe I'm crazy. I feel like this might be a unique model that they made. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. I just don't recall seeing a building with this type of roof shape. And I feel like I would. Alright, that should be good. Something like this. Something like this. There we go. The house get drowned in grass, I guess. It is funny to me that this shaman village, considering the amount of jar innards enemies we face, and there's like 4 buildings here, like, goodness me, America. You guys really had to stuff yourself like sardines inside those houses. Also, this is... Oh. 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 Uh-huh. Any other, like, rubble and stuff on the grounds? Not really. Really just around the houses. Yeah, okay, so nothing crazy important here. Most random place you can place that object in. Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised they're like, yeah, we're just gonna leave this here, right? Because, like, I can get the rubble, right? Like, some of the rubble, you're placing stuff around, some of it overlaps. I get you. An entire cart? And you're just gonna, like, leave this object inside? Okay, I guess. I mean, no one's gonna find it, I suppose. Like, it's certainly a choice. Oh, we have Sorcerer Boy here, so let's move him out of the way. Let's also reset this in case there's anything destroyed that I might notice later. This. Right. Something like this. Again, if I find it funny, it's just 4 buildings. Like, even Dominula is more believable as a village. But hey, what they want. That's how they want to do it. Who am I to complain? Let's try changing the light. There we go. There we go. Something like this, right? Something like this. All right. Now we do this. I guess something like this will be fine. I love I love villages that consist of 4 buildings. Looking at you, Bachula. Oh, yeah. Who knows? Maybe it's a reference. Oh, yeah. There we go. Something like this, yeah. This is the pool with the golden fireflies, too, as I recall, so. There we go. Actually, a village of few buildings can create a nice atmosphere. Yeah, I'm not complaining about, like, how it's constructed, so it's just funny to me that they're, like, when they plop down 4 buildings and they're like, okay, yeah, this is a village now. Like, I would hesitate to call something like this, like, a summer home. You want to tell me that's an entire whole hamlet? Okay, whatever you say, right? I just gotta poke fun. Yeah, okay, there it is. I was like, one of these is gonna have... Yeah, here it is. Curious about this entrance then here, if this is the actual platform thing. Oh, you know what? I've been thinking about it, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I want to include. I think I'm gonna have to include the this bridge into my analysis of the horn scent coming here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to factor that in. Oh. Yeah, okay. Okay. We have shots for the ruins and stuff, so... but I might want to get a shot that gives you a better idea of, like, oh, hey, the ruins are here, but look at where they fit in relation. Look at where they fit in relation to the village. As much as I love the kind of afternoon look there. God, the lighting feels so weird here. So weird. I can't wait to see a village that's only one structure and it's just a church. Wait, that's also Elden Ring? Yeah, the village before the Runestream Precipice, right? It's like one like shack, right? Like right down from the Bellum Church, right? When you go down the slope from there. That's definitely one of those. Okay, sure, whatever you say, right? I think the idea is supposed to be that the village itself has been washed away, right? Right? I assume that's the idea. But, like, it's still silly. They could have put more rubble or something, right? Why is the big middle finger in my screen? Should I scream? No, I-Man, don't scream. You'll wake up the neighbors. It's very disorderly. We believe in the golden order in this stream. It's the golden rule. Accept everything that America gives you. There. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Alright, so that's covered, that's covered. That's... I actually do want to check now if I'm crazy or not. Give me ice cream? Sorry, I-Man, I got no ice cream for you. No ice cream for the I-Man. Sorry to say, it's too hot. It all melts. Yeah, it looks... Now, maybe it's just the lighting here. I can't tell if those bones look more golden. Like, part of me wants to say, yeah, they do. But, like, it's not like gold, like the golden skeleton gold, you know? The golden order demands your on-stream faithfully. God damn. Well, about that. Yikes! Alright, so... back to Bonnie. Oh, I'll find it. There we go. One of these days, I'll actually remember where Bonnie is. It's closer to the shaman village than I think. I gotta remind myself. I like that shot, just, like, by default, but I think, yeah, something like this would probably be better. Also, yeah. There we go. That's better. There we go. Better shot there. How's you fighting Gwendolyn inside the Shadow Tree? I think Gwendolyn's had enough suffering, you know? What am I talking about? He's a filthy, stinking medial. He deserves all the suffering he gets. So you know what? Throw him in there. Turn him into a Shadow Tree avatar, the little twink. Hey, Macaroni, how you doing? Why are there deer here? Why are there deer in my shot? I just noticed that. Deer, get the hell out of my shot. Who allowed the deer to invade my shot? There's nothing to graze here. What are you picking? Charcoal? Get the hell out, you goddamn stupid animals. Guardian animals, my left foot. I'm about to say something even more vulgar. Oh, come on! Leave pets alone. Whose pets? They're all dead! He's a medial, of course. Loki hates him. Yep. Pygmy supremacy, baby! I'd rather be small than on fire. Eventually, these stupid deer will get out of my shot. The funny part is, I don't even know if they actually even... Let me actually look. Did they even get in the way of the shot I took, or was that like somehow after? Let's see. Screenshots. Oh, sorry there, chat. Accidentally minimized. There we go. What would you do if you couldn't hear the audio, chat? You would just be hearing my awful dulcet chords. There we go. Yeah, they're right there. I knew it. Oh my god, get out of the way, you stupid! Stupid animal! Oh, good enough. I'll take it. It's middle of nighttime, which is the biggest problem, but like I'll live with it. I will live with this. I will allow it. Maybe Mikla is Gwendolyn reborn, like in a Wheel of Time track. Oh. Sure, let's go with that. Let's go with that, I-Man. It would turn into ASMR stream where Loki complains about animals. Alright, chat. Now I'm gonna go here and start bitching and moaning about all these goddamn squirrels around my yard. My dog keeps wanting to chase them. What the fuck, man? Like, why do you want to go after the squirrels? There's a perfectly good lizard that you will never ever get because it will outrun you, but will give you endless entertainment. And yet you fucking want to go after the giant-ass squirrels. Don't even get me started on the fucking peacocks. Why the fuck are there peacocks in this neighborhood? Why the hell? Why do they come in? What do they get? They sound like freaking retarded chickens. What the fuck are they doing here? No, not the animals! The animals deserve everything they get. Woo! Anyone gonna explain to me why the frick I have... Anyone gonna explain to me why the frick I've got, fog right now? Because I certainly don't. Alright. I think this will be a good enough shot. We just need... Yeah, I can adjust this after the fog goes away. That was amazing good, because I'm terrible at improv. It looks okay-ish. Yeah, something like this. Mikla is the true beast of Sex and the Sky. You know, I don't wanna finish that thought. I don't know. I don't want to know what Mikla does in his off time with that tiny body of his. You know? I really don't. Honestly, Mikla in a pedo bear suit, though, that is kind of a funny image to imagine. Like, he's the one in the van. And Moog is, like, giant-ass Moog is, like, the kid with the lollipop or whatever, getting asked to come in the... Okay, you know what? There is some comedy potential there. That is... Oh, I think you speak about Radon. Radon would also be funny, right? Like, he's on his little pony or something. I wonder what happened to the lizards. I will say, my dog has done a good job of getting these lizards to just leave the area over the years. They started learning how to climb up to the roof real fast. They do not stay low to the ground. Yeah, actually, I think this is probably for the better. Yeah. Yep, for sure. Alright. Moog's in a better world. I don't know if he's in a better place now. I don't know about that, Chief. Woo! Alright, let's get... I'm surprised to see I don't really have shots of the jail. It sucks. Yeah, unless Mikla did something like from up here when he discarded whatever he discarded. I don't see anything crazy. That'll be a good shot, too. Alright. Alright, that's enough. There we go. Who's the worst sibling, Mikola or Layla? Lily wins hands down. Mikola, you could at least to some extent reason with. Ashley, you cannot. Now, in terms of who's the more dangerous or damaging, I think Mikola. Just because, you know, demigod powers and all that, right? Like, let's be honest, all Ashley's got is a demon trinket, which, while useful, especially with the way she creates loopholes and crap, it's not, like, the most dangerous thing on the planet. Mikola, I mean, let's be honest, if we didn't stop Mikola, Mikola might have, like, you know, Mikola might have caused a lot of death and destruction. Let's see. Do we see anyone else wear jewelry like this? It reminds me of the nobles of Leyndell for some reason. I don't know why. Just something about it, you know? I just really hate Radon, you know? You hate our boy? Radon? That's fair. That's fair. He's a bit of a poser. There you go. Did Melania have similar jewelry? I do not know about Melania. But it does remind me of, like, yeah, like the noble's crown. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, the nobles at least have, like, a crown that kind of looks like this. Again, could be completely coincidental, but it just kind of came to mind, you know? Nope, it just stays there. Also, really? Seriously. Something like this. There are rumors that we'll have Mikola Prime as boss in Elden Ring Night Rain. What do we mean by Mikola Prime? Do we mean Mikola with Radon? Or, like, Mikola by himself? I mean, I haven't followed leaks or anything recently on whatever Night Rain's doing, so... I'll be honest, I have no idea what they're gonna do for, like, the actual, like, big, like, final... whatever equivalent to a final boss this game's gonna have, right? I don't know if we're gonna get something actually new and really cool, if it's gonna just be more, like, kind of filler lore, where it's like, oh, that's interesting, but it's, like, nothing, like, super, like, game-changing, right? Like, I've joked before, it's like, oh, we're gonna fight, the true Night Lord is gonna be Godwyn, married to Melina's, twin sister, who's the actual Glow-Eyed Queen. You see, it really was all a red herring. You know, like, something like that, but... I doubt it. I hope it's gonna be something new, like his horse or a wolf. It's gonna be the cat that got cut from the game. I can't wait to fight Radon's pet cat. Howdy, Xavier. Which is the... Do we have one that'll just do the... No, not right now, huh? Oh, that's cool. Not only is it an actual part of the area for once, but they actually have it purposefully segregated from the others. Oh no, because there's another passage here. Okay. I thought it was like something where they actually like completely separated a period, but no, okay, there is some connection. That's cool though. I guess because there's probably an item here if I had to guess that I've already looted. Oh, let's cheat. Yep. I knew it! Like, I can cheat with this so hard, can't I? Nothing I'm crazy about getting shots at, you know? There we go. I just got here. Please repeat all the stream up until now so I'm caught up. Thanks. No, sir. Alright, the stream up until now. I've been taking screenshots. I've been shooting the shit with the people in chat. There, we're done. You're all caught up now. Is that Nito's music? No, I wish. I wish we got more Nito OST. Man, that would be great. We'd be in the best timeline. Well, that little graphical error really annoys me. That kind of ruined some things, you know? Like, damn, man. Like, damn, boy. I just want some good shots. I think this is gonna be probably the best we're gonna get with this little shaft thing, you know? Go. Let's see. Renato is also kind of silly. How can you be a warmonger in an era of peace? Feels weird. I mean, he's more of a war lover than a warmonger. Like, we don't really see him go really crazy about war until, like, pretty deep into the Shattering, and that's when he teams up with Godric, right? And as I've said before, I feel like there's probably the biggest factor in that was Rykard probably pushing him into it. It's like, the guy seems honestly more like a dove than anything. He just really likes heroes and stuff, so he likes battle as a result. So if he is in a battle, you know, he's gonna give his 100 for it. But it's not like he's going out of his way to be like, you know, violence is always the solution, right? I live for the Prospective Shaman article. Well, Danny, I'm kind of working on it now. I mean, I've got the updates on the Erdtree's beginning already. I mean, the whole purpose of me getting these shots is so I can get some reference images for that. Plus, I just want to get some Bonnie JL shots in general so I can remember these for the future. Yeah, I can still leave it, really, so. Go. Ah! We'll get shots of you. I have to think whether or not I want to get lots of reference images of these goddamn frozen maggots. Maybe. Oh, okay. Maybe something like that. You get the flesh magic shots at the Shadowkeep Hospital. Ah, you know what? You're right. You're right, because they do have a few of them that are scripted for that, right? We can do that then. The wonderful little hospital lab thing. Okay. You already got all the important shots here, so we're good. We're good, we're good, we're good. Anyway, so, like, I've already got a lot of the shaman stuff I wanted to talk about out of the way. Now, granted, I'm not going to call it my best work, what I'm doing to Erdtree's Beginning, by the way. As I've said before, until I have a good grasp of the cosmology, a lot of this stuff is kind of me, like, you know, it's the blind mice, you know, trying to find his way through the dark. But this blind mouse here is very happy, at least, to get some of the bigger historical points I have, right? Because, you know, the major point for me with, like, the major issue I've had with how people have covered America and the shamans and stuff is I think too much is being put on this idea that America really wants revenge against the Horn Scent, when it seems like it's actually the opposite. Like, she's all buddy with them until they're both no longer useful to her, and in fact, might double cross her in the future. You think, Yolan and Anna have anything to do with the shamans? I was so, weirded out how the Swordhand Knight and Shaman lore drops with no mention of Nox or Newman lore in the DLC. I mean, there's nothing, I mean, Knight is... I get why people want to connect them to Newmans because the whole Knight thing, but as far as I'm aware, they're not doing, like, Knight sorcery or anything. Like, the Knight isn't just exclusive to Nox. Like, it's a general arcane and, like, you know, magic and shadowy thing, so, like... I don't know, I've not looked too deep into them, but my understanding is I feel like the Knight thing has more to do with the fact that they were born and raised not under the sun, so they're essentially always in a perpetual night, right? Inside the jails, and, you know, that's more the thing to consider than anything. I hope there's a timeline where the Nox made their own lord or something like that. Like a Night Lord or an Elden Lord? I assume you mean a Night Lord. I can imagine us getting some ancillary Nox Lord that have to do with, like... Oh! Ooh, okay. That's really fast. Let's do the slow. Let's do normal speed then and see if we can get the shot. Look, I really appreciate the disclaimer, but the idea you have to prologue your lore integrity is profound. You serve the true knowledge God Senpai. Well, I'm not used to having to do such a major overhaul to one of my articles, right? Like, I've done updates, but most of those involve me, like, expanding my content, right? Like, if I do revisions, it's usually fairly minor stuff, and it's mostly just me, like, oh, I have to change this up so I can include all this other content that I'm going in, right? Like, this one, I just have a lot of, you know, erroneous analysis I have to correct, right? Or stuff well, okay, to be fair, it's not actually that much erroneous analysis. Most of it is just analysis which is no longer relevant to the topic of Erdtree's beginning, so I had to cut it and move it to other stuff. Like, I have a bunch of the Nox stuff now sitting over in my, my unpublished updates page. Because, like, I've got, like, you know, Night Rain coming up, and depending on what's in there, I might be able to, like, you know, come out with, like, a really good, up-to-date, Nox article or something, right? Like, it really is gonna depend there. Alright, let's see. Yeah, this is better. This is better, right? So again, I appreciate the compliments on my content, but like, I mean, it's a very big change of pace from what I'm normally doing, where, like, I just publish, like, my complete work, and, you know, like, right or wrong, my thoughts are my thoughts, right? Anything I change or add will be something down the line. I'll do an update on the Discord for those people who are really into, like, keeping track with every little, major change that I make, or addition I make to my content. But, like, for Erdtree's beginning, like, it's just so large, there's so much content that I have to change or update, including with the Shadow Tree stuff. As I'm saying to you guys, like, I'm very happy with what I'm coming out with, but I'm not going to pretend like it's like the final, like, okay, I've just like completely exhaustively covered this topic. There's still a lot of questions and stuff to be had in there, and lots of unanswered mysteries that would still need to be solved. And I'm not in the position to solve them at the moment. That's just the truth. Ah, damn, when I was reaching over there, I accidentally unplugged it. I accidentally hit the 0 key and unpaused it. Yeah, that's the problem with Elden Ring, is that its scope is so big that, like, as I always joke to you guys, right? Like, if you want the Elden archive or whatever next book from me on Elden Ring, you'll have to ask me again in a decade, because there's just way too much content for me to cover, even if I was, like, dedicated solely to it. And I'll be honest, I'm not interested in being dedicated solely to Elden Ring for the next few years. If I'm being completely honest, I really would like to focus on finishing Dark Souls and Bloodborne first. Especially considering I'm so close with all three of them. Hi, man. I love you, but I have no idea what you're trying to say to me right now. Like, here I am trying to get a shot, and you're talking about intertwining and press, and I'm like, what the... I'm sorry, I-Man. My I-Man decoder is busted right now. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Expect the book when the sequel comes out? I'll be honest, expect the book when the third sequel comes out. Like, I am so behind compared to other content creators, and I go so slow when it comes to the analysis. Yeah, no, Sekiro, sorry. Sorry, guys, I don't think I'm ever going to come out with anything on Sekiro. I just literally have no enthusiasm or interest to dive into Sekiro lore or whatever, right? Like, I just think all the factors that would make me even consider it, I'm like, no. I think there's plenty of people who probably have already covered the Japanese side, probably better than me, or I have, because they probably know more about the nuances of the history, I imagine, if they're super interested into Sekiro, right? Love that. Anyway. Right, like, I just don't see any chance of me ever, like, doing a deep dive and covering anything in the Sekiro space. Martin, probably not, I would guess, Adolphus. Miyazaki, or at least FromSoft as a whole company, sure. Yeah, that's the whole point of the environmental storytelling. I'm not there to try to infer something that's not there. I'm there to, my environmental analysis is there to include the most likely, intended narrative pieces, so that way I can cover the basis of the environmental storytelling for the sake of supplementing my, localization commentary, right? Like, because again, ultimately, what I do is to... Ultimately, what I'm trying to do, as I've said again in the past, is to highlight localization errors and why they're important to the understanding of the... Get out of here. Yeah, get out of here. Right? Let's go back to times 5 speed if we're not going to find any more of these guys that I really want to get shots of. Cool. Anyway. Yeah, like, now does that mean that every single little detail or conclusion I have was something that they specifically went out of their way for or something? Like, who knows, right? Like, there's always going to be room for error or for extra details that were never intended in the original, right? Right? Like, again, at some point, there's always going to be, you're looking at it too deep, right? This is why I've always told people, okay, just remember there's always, you know, artistic license, you know, not everything necessarily literally, right? Like, sometimes the way the level is constructed is because it's a game and it's, you know, level design and things like that, right? Well, obviously... You have to at least try to push to the limit there if you're going to try to get the most out of it. Otherwise, you're probably leaving something off the table that might be incredibly significant. Yeah, I would love... I want to cover Iz already and then get to Lorraine. Actually, probably do Tumerians before I get to Lorraine. Like, Lorraine probably be the last one I would cover of the big three from the Chalice Dungeons. Tumerians, though, would take a long time. Iz is much more reasonable. Right? It'd still be big, though, right? Like, Iz would probably be... Iz might end up being a thesis, honestly. Just because... Because there's so much, like, I'd have to, like, talk about in terms of, like, enemies and stuff like that. Like, Iz was where I was saving a lot of my talk about, for example, the brain suckers. There was also, like, you know, you have the celestial emissaries, right? But I try to avoid using the name of celestial emissary, so I'd have to establish them as, like, you know, the bloat heads and things like that, and some of the stuff that would go on there, and, like, talk about, you know, them being, like, people who've transformed by humans, which means I'm probably gonna have to rearrange some of the stuff I've talked about in the past with the, with Yosefka's clinic and that one bloat head on the operating table who's partly human, because I think I do talk about that quite in detail in the choir. I'm probably gonna have to, like, cut some of that stuff out and, like, rearrange that and put it into Iz or whatever, because otherwise I don't know how I would want to firmly establish that, yeah, you know, they look humanoid, so they're probably humans who've been transformed, right? Like, I would have to at least cite something beyond just that as, like, my evidence, right? What I mean is, like, in the grand scheme of the most popular YouTuber or creators, most people don't do that with locations or items. So I don't mean to say inference is a thing you're perhaps making. Either way, Adolphus, like, my point is that, like, when it comes to, like, doing, like, that environmental storytelling and stuff like that, right? Like, you want to be able to at least give the developer the benefit of the doubt on all the details. Because sometimes they have things, like, maybe in a broad idea, right? And then they construct things. And that has happy little accidents where, yeah, something falls under the idea of broadly this was what they were going for, but maybe some of the specifics or details are just kind of those things that, yeah, that's what happens with under that larger umbrella, but they weren't necessarily specifically going out to add or include. It just sort of works out that way due to how they're doing it. Like, let's say, like, I create a, I want to create, like, I don't know, like a torture dungeon, right? Now, suddenly, I'm going to include a bunch of, like, things that you'd include in a torture dungeon. So I'll have an Iron Maiden, or, like, you know, a Chair of Judas, or whatever, right? Like, you know, I want to include all that stuff in there, right? Now, maybe when I or you know, some of the developers I direct to make my torture dungeon, they're going to include, like, little vignettes or something, or maybe there'll be some, like, accidental thing with the chains or whatever, and you're like, oh, historically, that thing actually did happen that way or whatever, right? Now, did the devs maybe necessarily reference actual, or they know about that specific historical instance when creating the torture dungeon? No, they just looked up to make a torture dungeon, but that just kind of makes sense that, you know, when you're making a torture dungeon, some of those little, you know, specific instances, like maybe how the devices are, or how people are there, or maybe a way a character maybe died in the chair, in the Judas chair or something like that, instead of just, like, you know, that sort of stuff. It's like, okay, yeah, that all fits in. Was it necessarily, like, specifically intended? Maybe not, but in the course of just the general concept, it all falls in and works out, right? And I'm not there to try to sort out, like, what is or wasn't, you know, specifically, you know, selected out, being like, oh, we have to have this specific thing to convey this specific idea. I think ultimately what matters is that you look at all those specific little vignettes and stories and little details and try to see what the overall picture they're trying to paint is, right? And if some of those details are important for, like, nuance or something, then maybe you want to give it extra scrutiny just to see, to make sure, like, okay, was this something that looks like they very much intended this to convey that nuance, so that way you could have that specific idea there? Or do you want to still, like, be like, okay, this could be accidental, so maybe I should still try to be more broad with it, right? Like, there's a lot that has to go into when it comes to the analysis and stuff like that. And again, these are for things where the developers want you to make these kinds of analytical judgments almost instantly, right? Like, these are the types of things where they want to set something up so you get the idea without necessarily needing to examine every square inch of an environment, right? They want to make sure that you get those big picture ideas just from the feel of you going through. Now, of course, people are fallible, so not always are our first impressions going to be accurate impressions. But it's definitely the thing where Miyazaki has stated again and again, he wants to convey certain images, and those images are the things that he wants to be simple or basic, right? Like the Capra demon having a goat skull head, because when you think of goat skulls, you think demon, right? You know, because of all the stuff with, like, you know, like pagans and Wicca, or, like, you know, say, you know, devil worship and all that jazz, right? Like, that's something where it's like he loves those types of simple, easy shorthand types of shorthand, right? That really help, you know, more easily convey whatever buckets of information he wants to get across to people in his lore. So that way, less has to be done on the tech side, more can be done from the experiential side. Alright, so we've got that, I don't think we need shots of anything in Rhea. Right, exactly. The big one behind the pedestal is the one that does the flesh magic, Loki. Do I want to get the flesh magic? Sure, we'll do that. We'll do that. The mentality required to create Elden Ring or other art demands intent close to Loki's orientation than most content. Yeah, I think that's fair to say, right? Like, you can maybe get away with not being as, like, you know, being a bit more laissez-faire with, like, the environmental details and design for most developers if you're working on, say, like, I don't know, like a Halo type of game or something like that, right? Or any other game that might have more traditional exposition, right? Because there isn't as much then put on it, right? Yeah, not saying that, you know, other games do it badly, right? Like, for example, like, let's say, say, Last of Us, right? Like, that's a very story-heavy game, but there's also a lot of stuff that they have notes, and there's environmental storytelling with some of the areas and things like that, right? But a lot of times you'll go from, like, room to room, area to area, and beyond just having, like, a logical progression of, okay, it makes sense that, like, this would connect, you know, this room would connect to that room, or something like that, right? Like, it makes sense for this to be in that building. For the most part, it tends to be very basic and surface level, like, okay, yeah, this just makes sense. Like, they're not expecting you to look closely at every little room. In comparison to, say, Elden Ring, where, like, it's even more important that the density of detail is meaningful. I definitely think that's fair to say. This is the one that we need for the flesh magic thing, right? So... just getting you. How's it so fast? Times 5 speed with a camera mod. Yeah, okay. Let's actually slow us down now. Oh wait, stealth is off. Okay. I think this is the one that does it, right? No, it's just doing that. Okay. Alright. Something like this. You also have them throwing shots of bits of their flesh at you? No, but I don't think that's important for me right now. Again, my only control is just showing how they control the flesh that's attached to them. So we're getting shot of this, and then if I don't see anything interesting here, we're moving on. I don't know. Is that power from Formless Mother or what? My assumption would be no. But I don't know where the gooey, fleshy, bloody bits things are coming from otherwise. Because I feel like Formless Mother, there'd be more flame and stuff involved, right? Yes. Guess this one. Yeah, I'm not impressed with this. Didn't they do like a blood fly thing? I guess not. I guess it's just an area effect thing. I thought they did something kind of like blood flies, where like they throw like some fleshy, weird like bug things at you. Oh, and let's also confirm. I don't see any maggots on the actual bodies, right? Because they talk about the maggots coming from the jar innards, right? But I'm not seeing any embedded in the bodies, like with the slugs and stuff. Doesn't do the bleed, yeah. So it's probably not Formless Mother thing, because yeah, they do have some bleed effect, if not the fire. Hey, you're doing shaman stuff? Technically, I think the shaman stuff should already be posted. I'm just getting the reference images to include with the posting now. The flesh he gets from this to be rancorous and scales with arcane. Yeah, I'm trying to keep as much of the Jar Saint lore out of this analysis, because again, I'd rather try to focus on Hornsent. Maybe in the future, I'll have the Marika stuff and the Hornsent stuff as like one article of its own or something, but for now, it's going into Erdtree's beginning. That covers everything in here that I really want to grab, so. Yes, doggo, I know, you're like, oh, gotta stretch on the floor. Need more love. Here, you get your belly rubs. Okay. There we go. Boom. let's see, we got that. We got that stuff in Bonnie. Is there anything else I want to grab, chat, before I head off? Anything on our favorite lampreys? No, I think we got enough shots of them last time. I was pretty happy with what we grabbed. I got shots of the bridge. Like I said, I'm gonna think about maybe adding stuff on the bridge. Because I can't think of who's making the bridge. Like, it's not gonna be the shamans, right? Like, they would be like Bonnie. They would make, like, a rope bridge or something, right? So, like, unless they're like, no, this is very important that we make a bridge made of solid stone with, like, you know, expert level, you know, civil engineering and all that jazz. Maybe. So I think it's probably more likely to be horn scent, but the tree tells us they didn't have a historic presence here still, right? Like, they got the one tree. It's not like there are other areas. They got, like, you know, lots of trees, like, sprinkled about. Actually, if I recall correctly, they don't even have that many trees here, right? Which makes sense, because you wouldn't expect too many of these guys here. One of the horn scent shadow dead healers did the blood fly. That's the one that is, like, in, like, the fly village and stuff, though, right? That's separate from what I'm thinking about. There's not really any here. There's the one there. Actually, I want to check the Cerulean Coast finger ruins then, just to double. Yeah, there's another there. I don't recall any in Karo's hidden grave either, right? Okay, so it's just the two here. You don't have the pink one's poison spit. Oh, that's right. I don't have the attack. So yeah, let's try to grab some of that then too. All right, let's look at the ruins real quick then. Just double check, make sure there's no details I'm missing on this one. Because I don't really talk about it a lot. Because again, I'd assume most of that stuff I would cover either something on like Metter or something related to horn scent if it's got any horn scent relevant lore. But we still get the seed talisman, so it might have something more specifically connected to that. I also don't have any idea where these guys would fit in. Yay! Let's see. Oh my goodness. Nothing. It's just boring finger statues and goddamn little land bumps. Alright, where's that stupid hovel? Where's that shack? Somewhere around here, I know. Right? Was it over here? Yeah, there it is. Let's go this way then. Yay! Then we go over here. Right? Yeah. There's a spirit here, as I recall. Yeah, there is. And he's a horn scent spirit? Yep, he is. Okay. You definitely have horn scent spirits around. Yep. And it's burned. Mesmer was just like, listen, we have to burn down this very specific shack in the middle of nowhere. It's very important. Yeah, nothing else here. Are there Horde State corpses in the finger ruins? I imagine it's the same thing in there too, yeah. But I'm not gonna go, because I've already looted them if they exist, so I'm not gonna, like, go, you know, searching for them now. It'll be like trying to find a needle in a haystack, you know? Yeah, let's just go straight to Dale. Oh, yeah. You know, a thought came to me when, or are they? A thought came to me. I wonder if the idea of having these guys all, like, kind of, like, sleeping outside the ruins with very few men actually inside, again, you know, quote-unquote males, inside the actual finger ruins. I'm wondering if that's because it's meant to kind of allude to this idea of, like, they get captured and killed by the pink ones, you know? Like, they're trying to avoid the pink lampreys, because the pink lampreys, much like the shamans, will capture, kill them, possibly eat them, though who knows if they adopted that practice or not, right? Maybe that's what the, maybe that's what some of these, like, bloody poison attacks are supposed to indicate, since they're supposed to, they so, deeply resemble, you know, Dominula and stuff in that regard. Anyway. Let us see. Oh. A little bit of blood mixed in, too, already. I feel like I should get something like that, but the angle's gonna be more awkward, so we'll just deal with this. You know what? The more I look at this attack, the more I am reminded of the Dominula woman, I will admit. I don't remember if it's the exact same effect, because I don't remember them having, like, a poison look to what they come out with. Maybe that's a part of them being, like, these horrible monster things now, but... it is pretty gross. That's a really good one. I like that one a lot. Oh. They do this attack a lot more often than I realize. Uh-huh. Ah! Ow! Ow! I've been assaulted! Oh, that's not the one I want. There we go. They seem to be barfing it since their head/throat swells. Yeah, for sure. So maybe that's supposed to be not their blood, but the blood of those they devour. In which case, it could be, yeah, that they genuinely are just devouring the male, quote unquote, ones, right? Because that's where that would be consistent with my analysis. Oh my god. Well, just realized I got sniped again. Yeah, there's only like one, two... There's only like a handful of actual, you know, blue boys to go with the pink boys. Hey, buddies. Alright, anything else special you got? Woo! I don't know what the noises are for. I don't know if I like that background, but okay. Yeah, I don't. We'll get shots of them doing finger stuff later. Ow! Why are they ugly? Listen. With great power comes great unsightliness. Ow! There we go. Bubbles because of the space magic thing. But isn't the bubble thing like really only seen with like okay, that's one way to do it, I guess. Aren't the bubbles mostly just you see with the what are they called? The mud people? I don't recall bubble effects with other arcane or space magic-y things, like Eternal Darkness or something. Maybe it's just for the finger weaver stuff, but okay, yeah, good. We're out of combat. They dispel torrent. They take away my goat horse. What am I supposed to do without my goat? All right, you know what? Let's put this to like daytime, and then try to get some more shots of. Because like I said, I might include this in the analysis now. Now that I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? This actually could have legs as an idea. God, lighting in this area is so awkward. Like, I guess. Yeah, when did the pink ones start showing up as sleepers? Because I imagine the idea is supposed to be like the pink ones are sleeping. Like these guys are obviously exhausted because they're like rushing themselves out to get away from the pink girls. Yeah, where are the pink ones? Glintstone darts do bubbles and lightning. Oh, huh? Lightning would be consistent with what we see with, like, gravity, because gravity has its own little lightning thing, too. I'm not crazy, am I, chat? Or are they that much deeper inside? Oh, there they are. Okay. They don't want the sheep. Something like this. I guess something like that. That's fine, I suppose. Anything else I could be missing about this scenario? I thought about them being shaman lampreys just because they're pink and it reminds me of the pot innards, but your reasoning is really great. Oh, thank you. There's also the worm spirits by the cliffside. I don't know how useful that is. The worm spirits. The what? The what? Worm spirits? What? Where is this? Like, do you mean by the cliffside over here, or...? The blue ones? Yeah, we got the blue and the pink ones. Oh, okay. Yeah, I do not recall any spirits in this area. Alright, there we go. Yay. Where the cave exits out? Okay, gotcha. Let's go over here then. Yeah, I'm like, I don't recall any worm spirits. Was it around here or somewhere deeper? Ugh, God, I hate this fog shit. Like, holy crap, who let out the big one? Disgusting. Yeah, here's the cave, right? Yeah, here's the cave. Oh, these guys. I completely forgot. Yeah, I guess these guys are kind of like worms, aren't they? Little baby arms? Yeah, they do got little baby arms. I have no idea about what these are, though, versus the jellyfish. I guess these could be male spirits opposite the jellyfish. Like, the jellyfish, they only show off the female spirits, but then the DLC adds male equivalents, and they're all little worm guys. Maybe that's the idea. You know, I could make a huge joke about... You know, I'm not even gonna say it. But yeah, I don't know. Again, I feel like I have to know more about what these spirits are and, like, you know, how consistently, like, you know, like, just overall the patterns with them. But I guess, yeah, it could be connected to the quote-unquote blue lamp, blue male lampreys or something, right? Maybe. Maybe. Okay, yeah, I think that covers, though, anything I'd want to potentially add or whatever to what we've already got here. It also gives an explanation now for some of the poison, barf stuff, right? Because now that creates a direct parallel to the Dominula woman, right? Because it's like, okay, you have like the poisonous, blood stuff that they're eating because of all the cannibalism and things like that. That they're barfing back out, right? Maybe it's another graveyard. Ooh. Could the spirits be indications of where there's been mass deaths? Maybe. We do sometimes see the jellyfish spirits in areas where there's been a lot of death, right? God. Yeah, I'd have to think on that. That's one of those things where, again, that goes deep into the cosmological side of things that I probably want to shelve for later. But that could be potentially very relevant as part of the data set. Okay, yeah, nothing else here except more of those finger boys. Alright, talked about my feelings on having the right card fingered boys here. Yeah, and then we got this covered, that covered. Is there anything from Shadowkeep that I really want to get a shot of? No, I don't want to get the shot of the Festive Grease Corpse. I don't think there's any point to that. We got the Shaman Village, we got that, we got the rings. There's no point in getting any shots of an Iralim, right? Yeah, there's nothing really I want to get shots of here that I wouldn't want to get from the trailer. Oh, wow. I didn't realize... I realized that they're not close to each other. Oh, boy. Yeah, nothing I'd really want to talk about in terms of details either. Like, I would tuck all this in, like, a horn scent thing, right? No point including the other stuff. Got the golden skeletons near the village, yeah. Just to confirm, guys, the skeletons are gold, right? Like, I'm not crazy. Because sometimes they look kind of, I'm like, okay, maybe that could be, like, normal color or whatever, right? But they are supposed to be, like, actually legit, like, gold, right? Because I'm not going to mention that detail here, because I assume it's because of the Shadow Tree, and, you know, based on, like, the actual items lore and stuff like that, so I'm not going to focus too hard on that, but... Just want to make sure I'm not, like, nutso. Let's see. Yeah, we got everything else covered there. Good. There's nothing really I want to get as shot as a reference for, like, Marika sneaking in or something on the Horn Scent. I don't want to get any reference images for Malekith for what we're doing. Not really any shots needed for Rao either. Because I would already talk about, like, Rao would probably be where I would talk about the green and gold trees in a separate thing. They glow, but the skeleton souls are normal colored. I think just the bone shard is gold. Okay, so they might be actually normal colored. Okay. I feel like that's something where I'm like, okay, could someone, like, get, like, you know, your average... Because they look different from the skulls, right? Because when you get, like, random shots of random skulls... Let's go back here just to see if any spawn in. When you look at random skulls, they look more bleached than these, but I can't tell if that's just like, oh, because they're different models, they weren't referencing the same thing. Or if it's actually intended to be like, yeah, these look more golden, but it's just like normal bone color, right? Like, where's the random skulls that might, like, appear? We had one up here earlier in the stream, right? Oh, well, I can't see it. I can't see it, right? Because I could see that being a normal skeleton, right? But I can't really tell. Because it does look yellow-ish. But it's not really gold like the golden skeleton enemies, right? But maybe if I saw it outside of the game without, like, you know, with, like, you know, a neutral, like, you know, lighting, maybe it would look more golden compared to normal skeleton models. Yeah, I just don't know. Loot a shard and look at it without... Okay, yeah, let's see if that affects the lighting. Maybe it is just the golden. Where is it? Yeah, it can still go either way for me. Like, if I looked at this, like, just, like, in a vacuum, I'd be like, this looks like a normal skeleton to me. But I will admit that it's got a bit of that yellow tint there. And I just can't tell how much of that is, again, just looking at trying to create natural weathering without making it bleached. Or how much of that is, you know, oh, it's because it's been influenced by the Shadow Tree. Anyway, it's not the biggest deal either way. Wait, did I just... pass it for a second. I hate how the time I actually want skeletons, little skeleton parts to appear in my map, they're not here. Yeah, damn. Doesn't look gold to me. Okay, okay. If that is just normal, then alright, that's fine. Something to keep in mind when I'm doing the Shadow Tree part of the update. Yeah, okay, that's it. Not seeing anything else worth talking about. Let's move on. Yep, and that covers that. Nothing in Gravesite Plains that's worth talking about. Obviously nothing here. Nothing in the Abyss. Nothing in Jagged Peak. Nothing in Cerulean. Nothing in Rao. Nothing in Rao Base. Okay, they have covered all the stuff that could possibly be relevant for these updates concerning Marika's godhood and stuff. Which might mean there's going to be some, like, you know, blank parts of the article where it's just going to be text and text and text, but you know what? I'm okay with that, right? I've done everything I can to give you guys some pretty pictures to look at in between. Yeah. Nothing really I can add here on this shot. That just takes you up to the parish area. I think they just got blessed in a single spot, not the whole skeleton. Yeah, I can buy that. It's just really hard for me when it's like, okay, you see, like, you know, white skulls, and then you have the skulls that look more yellow. It's like, okay, is the yellow important, right? But it's not as, you know, gold as, like, these skeletons who are buried in the vicinity of the Shadow Tree are, right? So, how much weight should I really be putting on how yellow they're making that skeleton? Right, so I think for now, the time being, I'm just gonna assume it's normal color. Like see this, like compared to this, right? You get me? For the time being, though, we'll just assume it's all natural, and it's just like that specific little bone fragment or something. Okay, yeah, that covers everything I want. This gonna be a Twitter thread? No. Anything we talk about regarding Shadow Tree and Marika stuff, that'll all be part of Erdtree's beginning. I will be including it. So again, I don't know when... I think I might take a break, go back to Dark Souls 2, and then come back later to include Shadow Tree and stuff. Because this stuff on Marika and the Shaman stuff, like, it's taken a lot out of me. So I think once I finish, like, polishing this stuff up, I might, like, shelve the Shadow Tree stuff for, like, you know, later in summer or something. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. Maybe the Shadow Tree stuff, there's not, like, a lot. It's gonna be, like, 2 paragraphs, and then I can just, like, add it to, like, an existing section I'm doing on the Erdtree. Fun fact, dancing lions have a subtle green spiral painted on their nose. Ooh, neat. Alright, that's gonna cover everything for today, chat. Again, thank you guys for those of you who showed up to keep me company for this. I always love and appreciate you. Oh, of course, another one of these. Of course. Anyway, but our time here must be short. nearly woman trees for your analysis? No, I do not, Adolphus. I assume that would be in horn scent, right? So I'm gonna keep that. Again, I'm gonna try to keep as much of the horn scent stuff out of this. I want to just be like, okay, you guys have probably heard and know the analysis from something another content creator has. I'm just going to try to talk about strictly the things relevant to America's godhood and the Erdtree. And as I say, in the future, I could see, depending on how the horn scent stuff would develop in the future, I could see myself taking stuff out of Erdtree's beginning related to America's godhood and make it either as part of the horn scent thing or as a separate article. Probably as a separate article, because I feel like horn scent would be meaty enough by itself, but we'll see. Anyway, talk to y'all later. Bye-bye!